Hi, this is Jeff Miller coming to you from our offices here in West Des Moines. And our next video is with a friend of mine, Greg Carlson. Now, Greg is an executive recruiter. He has his own business since 1992. And I thought it'd be interesting to visit with Greg to see about the hiring practices here in Des Moines, how strong it's been for his business. He also runs a leadership consulting business as well. So without further ado, we'll turn it over to our next interview, Greg Carlson, president of the Carlson Group. Okay, hi, this is Jeff Miller, and we're coming to you from this beautiful office in West Des Moines. This is my friend Greg Carlson. Greg Carlson is the owner of the Carlson Group. Greg has been in business since 1992. He's an executive search individual. I thought, and he can tell you more about his firm than I can, but I thought it'd be instructive to hear from a person who's actually recruiting for businesses all over central Iowa and even larger geographic base than that. Hiring tendencies, hiring practices of larger companies have a window into how the economy is doing, as you would expect. So I thought this would be a good interview to have, and we'll learn a little bit of insight from Greg. So, Greg, thank you very much for doing this with us. Why don't you give us a little bit of background on your company?
And thanks for having me.
Sure.
It's we can use all the help we can get just to get the word out. So we appreciate whatever vehicle we can find like this. So again, happy to help out. So Carlson Group is a retained executive search and leadership consulting firm. We're small, we're a boutique, we are Midwest focused. We really have worked hard to bring an end-to-end package with both sides of that business, which I think makes us pretty unique in the market, Jeff. On the search side, we will work on retained searches sort of in that medium executive level up to the senior level. We're best known anytime you do a CEO search or a CFO search or a chief marketing officer search, you get best known for that. They're more visible, and we've really kind of earned our way up into that level. So we really enjoy that opportunity. We really appreciate when companies kind of give us that vote of confidence to go out and find such a key leader for them. On the leadership consulting side, Gary Waljasper joined me in 2012. Gary has built out a terrific suite of both leadership training programs, talent management and succession planning. He does executive coaching. He does leader assessment, all sorts of things that we've really found there's just a great need, and the growth of his business has been spectacular. So we've been really pleased.
Outstanding. Now, your focus historically has been financial services. That's where you've done a lot of your research.
Well,
I know you're branching out or have branched out
right.
beyond that. What different industries do you look at?
So we have always been a generalist firm, going way back to our start, and we've done searches in all sorts of industries. But over the years, I have a financial services background myself, and we really have a deep dive into both the banking and the insurance side of things. But from a growth standpoint, we really realize that we want to broaden that menu. We've been doing work with manufacturing companies, technology companies, agribusiness companies. So we're doing a really good job, I think, of getting that word out, and it's helped having Gary and the other side of the business.
Absolutely. Now, one of the things about executive search is you have to find potential people who will either move here or are homegrown that are qualified and will take those positions.
Right.
How do you find your talent? How do you find people that can actually do those jobs?
Well, it's a great question. I don't, of course, want to give you all the secret sauce here, but and it's the hard part of the job. When it's one thing to get a search, we really spend a lot of time on the front side making sure that we understand the client and the hiring manager and why somebody's going to want to come here. What's the pitch? Why does it work? But relocation is harder than ever, sure. And people just are much more reticent about relocating. So we've got our work cut out for us, despite the great story that Central Iowa's got when we're working for a local firm. So we're going to use a combination of things. We really try to tap into who are the real industry leaders on the, because maybe they might consult in that area. They've been around forever. They've been at a lot of companies, and they're going to be folks that know who we want to be recruiting. And then we're also able just to really actively go do a lot of research into the targeted companies that we want to get and to get the word out. So we're going to be calling them, we're going to be emailing them. Everybody's busy these days. It's not easy to get them on the phone, but it's just when we put a word out. And so right now we've got a search going on where we'd let the client know we've contacted close to 300 folks already. It's a huge number. Half of them at least are not candidates for this job, but they know people. And if they know somebody that's ready for another opportunity, it's amazing how the message gets out and then it comes back to us.
Sure. Okay, so relative to, I view executive search as a somewhat of an indication of the strength of the economy,
Sure.
particularly locally or wherever you're searching for. So when we look at that over the next 2, 3, 4 years, or the last, I should say, 2, 3, 4 years, has your business been continuing to grow? Have you had more search opportunities? And then with the leadership element being a part of that as well since 2012, if that's taken off, is that adding more revenue to your, and are the companies, are they embracing that and spending money on that area as well?
Yeah. So the last 3 years, so if you think back to the recession, 7, 8, 9 was brutal. It was just hard. It was hard. It was hard to keep your name on the door almost, just from a, people aren't recruiting. Nobody was recruiting. So we were frankly, we were fortunate just to get through that. And then as 10 and 11, we really started gaining some momentum. When Gary joined me in 2012, it was one of our best search years ever, which on some level allowed us to invest in what it needed to get that side of the business up and running. It was great timing. And we've had a great run since then. So the search side has been, I would describe it more as steady, but not because there's not other opportunities out there, but because we only have so much capacity. I only want to do so many top searches.
Sure.
And so, whether it's 10, 12, maybe 15 a year, that's a great number on the search side. And then on the consulting side, we've been frankly blown away by the growth of Gary's business. We would have thought, as we sort of got into that niche, that maybe at some point the consulting piece might be a third of our revenue at the very least, or at the very most, excuse me. And it's already starting to push us on the search side. It's just been spectacular.
So large corporations are embracing leadership training as well as other services that you have to offer for their executives.
They sure are. I think especially as you think of pulling out of the economy, companies with real foresight understand that it's all about leadership. At the end of the day, it's who's leading you and can they get people to follow.
Sure.
And they're making those investments in the people that are really going to make the difference in the company. Sure.
What's interesting right now in this kind of economic cycle that we're in is bad news makes the top of the fold in the newspaper. The good news makes the bottom of the fold.
Right.
And it's a little disheartening, but right now the energy industry is going through a real overhaul, so to speak. A lot of job layoffs, oil dropping to under $30 a barrel, although it seems to be stabilizing, moving up a little bit now. So that's kind of on a large scale, the large layoffs that you read about. But even more important than that is when you think about what you do, if you're able to search and get the right person in, it could mean an expansion of a couple 100, 200, 300 jobs for a local small to medium-sized business here in Des Moines. If you get the right person in, they have the right goals and objectives, they have a vision, and that could be tremendous for the city of Des Moines or any place that's actually bringing those people in. Have you seen that transpire over the years?
We have. I don't know specifically if it's 200 or 300, but we have brought in 3 or 4 CEOs here in the last few years. We've brought in a lot of other executives, and these businesses are doing really well. These executives have really taken root and are growing their businesses, and so it's really it's encouraging to see, and it's fun to have been a part of something that important. So like you as far as the headlines. You'd think the sky was falling, especially both around the stock market and kind of what's going on there, as well as just the being in this political cycle right now. You've got candidates on both sides who just think the sky is falling.
Right.
And we just don't see it. The jobs report that came out last week was very promising, and that's what we're seeing. It's not like gangbusters, but it's been really steady growth, and it's been really well received. So it's pretty rosy.
Excellent. Lastly, tell me about Des Moines. You hear rejections. Well, I'm not going to move to Des Moines.
Right.
And you hear after people visit, probably some, wow, this is better than I thought it was. What kind of feedback do you get from some of these people?
So a couple things. I would tell you that relocation anywhere today is a significantly more difficult proposition than it was 5 or 10 years ago, or 5 and 10 years before that. you know, families are just, they're getting more and more entrenched in where they're at, and I think executives are less mobile than they've ever been. Having said that, when you've got a great job, people are going to pay attention to it. So when I get somebody on the phone from Ohio or Colorado or wherever, they didn't wake up yesterday trying to figure out how to get to Des Moines. You know, that didn't happen. But having said that, the Des Moines story today is so different than it was 10 years ago.
Absolutely.
We're just starting a search here locally where we sort of recrafted our Des Moines message. And when you're looking at all the awards the city's getting, when you're looking at the attention it got during the caucuses, there's a lot of national buzz around here. And it's become a much easier place to recruit to than it used to be.
Yeah, I bet. Incredibly.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, thank you very much for your
You're
time.
welcome.
I appreciate it. That's our interview with Greg Carlson of the Carlson Group. Give us a little insight on the hiring practices, at least at the mid to upper level within the city of Des Moines. So that's our interview for today. Thank you much.